energy level is really good too. I mean, they got a lot of guys that hadn't done this before.
Yeah.
There's only three guys that have been to regional, so this is the first time for a lot of them, and it's pretty exciting for them.
How hard is it to kind of harness that energy?
No, they're good. I mean, the thing about it, once they'll find out too, we'll talk to them about it, but the Big 12 tournament is much more of a big deal in terms of the preparations than the regional, because you have to win your bracket, then you have to win another game, and this is just win your bracket. It's not as huge of preparation because it's shorter time period.
What surprised you the most about this group, do you think, this year?
Well, I think the surprises for me were more what happened before the tournament than what happened after the tournament or during the tournament. It was the inconsistencies, the ups and downs. It really, it wasn't that big of a surprise though, because we lost our best pitcher. We had some guys that were underperforming on the positional side, but they got it together at the right time. No matter how you get where we are right now, it doesn't make any difference. You know, whether you have a great regular season or whether you win the tournament. And the bottom line is we're still playing.
Mm-hmm. How would you rank this first game coming up against Arizona as importance?
Well, every game this time of year is important. I feel like we've already won something, and I feel like the pressure is going to be on everybody else that's there. You know, we're I won't say we're just happy to be here, but that's about what we are, and we've earned it. But at the same time, every day is a blessing from here on forward. We weren't expected to be here.
Coach, this tournament is kind of a new thing for a lot of guys, but I understand a couple of players have been there before, a little bit. Connor Mack and Jeff Emmons. Can you talk a little bit about that? Maybe them having been there, does it mean anything?
I think a little bit. I think that they can share some of the experience, but it's not in numbers like we had when we were going to 7 straight years. But I think that maybe helps this club. I think that excitement, that energy that comes with it is a pretty cool thing this time of year, because these guys are worn down, and whatever they can do to play a little harder is great.
How satisfying is this for you personally to see this group come through like they did last week and then be in the position they are now?
Well, it's incredibly satisfying, because it's when you go to 7 straight and you don't go for a couple of years, it starts to hurt. And then last year, the championship game was very painful. I mean, for me personally, and I think just for the continued growth of the program, and it's something that we strive to do every year. So it's a unique way how we got here. And that makes it that much more special.
Did you change it all maybe from last year? That you mentioned that painful way it ended last year. Did anything?
Well, I thought we were going to have it again on Sunday. But it's just it stays with you a long time. You know, the whole summer. It's just like I couldn't shake it. And I think these guys were kind of the same way. Maybe a little extra motivation, but yeah, it's not that deep really. I mean, but it just, when you lose a game like that, it hurts. And particularly when you put into it, what these guys put into it, and I know what our coaching staff puts into it, it's whenever you put that much effort into something and you don't achieve it, it's painful at the end.
Coach, I know you only had a day to kind of look at Arizona. I don't know what you knew about them before, even yesterday, but what are their strengths and weaknesses for someone who hasn't seen them play before?
Well, just looking at their numbers, I think they're a ball club built for their ballpark. They've got a lot of doubles, and it's a deep ballpark, especially in left field. Pitchers throw strikes. If they got a number one, it's a legitimate number one, a guy we looked at with Team USA last year. But honestly, the pressure's on them. They're the 1 seed. You know, they're supposed to beat us. I wouldn't want to be playing us. I mean, normally when you play a 4 seed, you're playing somebody from a small conference that maybe never been to a tournament before. So now they get to go to a 4. They play a 4 seed from a big conference that just beat Texas A&M, and Oklahoma.
Coach, how does from a strategical standpoint, how does your managing of the game change in a tournament like this compared to maybe a weekend series?
You play for one run a little bit more. You know the pitching that's on the other side, and every run is a big run. Every at bat's a little bit bigger. Pitching, maybe your leash is a little bit shorter for some pitchers and a little bit longer for others, but not a lot. I mean, really, the comment I made at the Big 12 tournament is this time of year, you just get out of the way. You know, just let them play, and that's, I think, the best approach, because they're playing well, and the last thing I would want to do is try and do something that we haven't done all year, and then have them not be ready for it.
What maybe have you learned about yourself personally?